I am Veronica Soria Martinez, and I am the curriculum coordinator for the Caucus of Social Theory in Art Education.
And my name is Emily Hood, and I am the coordinator for the Caucus of Social Theory in Art Education. And we are so glad that you joined us today to learn about our curriculum resource. So we're going to start out looking at our CSTAE webpage because it is a great resource in general. The website is easy to find. It's CSTAE.org. And if you're looking for our curriculum resource, you click on this curricular resources button right here, and it's going to take you directly to the Virginia Commonwealth University library website where this is housed. And so this is basically just the opening page to the whole curriculum resource.
Here you have two links, one to submit a lesson of your own that you have crafted to the resource, or you can click in there to browse different lessons that are available for you to use. And these have been stored following different categories, and you can find them here. So if you don't know maybe like what medium you're going to use, and you want to start rather by the developmental level, or maybe what you have cleared is that you want to talk about conflicts or about community, then you can go right here to the big idea theme and click on there, and then you're going to get all the lessons that would fall under that category. And we can see here different examples. If one lesson falls under two categories, obviously you're going to find them in both places. But we found that this was very nice because you may not be sure in the beginning what category you want to choose, and you may be browsing according to different parameters. Maybe it's the opposite. You don't know what big idea you want to talk about, but you know that you want to work on sound. Then you can go in there and click on sound, and you will find all the lessons that have to do with sound.
And there they are.
Yeah. And we wanted to feature one lesson that is, for instance, if you think about social engagement, there is a lesson that is power issues in everyday life. And the reason, for instance, that I would find interesting to work on this lesson is because, well, you can choose here what do you want to download. You can download the full text, and that is formatted as a lesson, or you can choose to have the presentations, which are PDFs of the presentations, or the student images that may be provided as well as a result that teacher who crafted the lesson is showing what their students did. But if you go here to the download full text, you can find the lesson plan format, and it has a cover page, and then you can find the objectives, of course, that you will provide separately in the form, but here on the lesson as well. And as you go down, you find all the objectives, and then the breakdown of the different days and the timing and what the activities would take place on each day. And one reason that, for instance, this lesson would be very interesting to implement is because it teaches a lot of theory, and then also as well different, it goes over socially engaged art, of course, but also block printing and performance, and different, it exposes students to a wide range of media that deal with the socially engaged art.
Awesome. Okay, let me backtrack here a little bit. So we're going to go back to this opening page where we wanted to also demonstrate for you how you can submit your own curriculum, because it can be a little bit intimidating sometimes. And so we just wanted to step you through that process. And as you can see, that link, it's on the following page as well that we were just looking at, but you can submit your resource by clicking here. There's a lot of information, like that preliminary information that you might need on this page, but also this information is on the form itself. So I'm just going to click and go straight to the form. So that little purple link right there. So it pulls up this nice Google form that we have prepared. And it's got the goal and mission for the portfolio there. And really a section talking about engaging in social theory. And we're going to go ahead and jump to what the criteria for curriculum submission are, because we feel like that's really essential for you to know when you're doing this. So what we're looking for in these lessons is, number one, that they focus on interdisciplinarity. So really thinking across different subject matter through art making. That they engage with visual and material culture, so critically looking at social, cultural, political issues. The number three, that there's some sort of research involved. So really encouraging students to engage in inquiry, study, and investigation as part of their art making process. And then finally, number four, social action, activates creative and artistic interventions to critically question social issues in contemporary culture. So really trying to take their inquiry and their learning and activate it in the world to see what happens. Now, when you actually, and if you want further description of each one of those, there is more description here to help clarify those for you. And for the sake of time, I'm going to skip past that. But when we receive one of these submissions from you, this gives you some information about how we evaluate those. So I just gave you those 4 criteria, but really your lesson only needs to address 3 of those 4 criteria. It doesn't have to address all 4. And then submissions will be evaluated on a scale of 1 to 5 points for each criteria. And what you submit could be a single lesson plan. It could be projects. It could be a unit plan with multiple lessons. It could be more like a syllabus, or have to do with like, a description of semester theme. So it doesn't have to necessarily be, a step-by-step lesson plan. But I will say much of what we have in the archive right now is along the unit/lesson plan line. We also evaluate on the following attributes: thorough and well-developed content, clearly articulated connections to the CSTAE mission and criteria for curriculum submission, clarity and quality of design and writing, and then the quality of images and supporting resources. And then there's all this kind of technical information about how to format your files. So you'll just need to kind of pay attention to that when you're going to upload your materials. And then once you get there, you can just say that you've read the submission guidelines and hit the next button.
And once you get here, what you're going to do is it is going to prompt you basically to provide all the information that will likely be in your lesson plan already, but we will need it to kind of like revise it and categorize it as well. So now Emily is putting her name and the project title, which is Our Cards of Social Practice. And now she is going to include a short description or abstract. It's a maximum of 150 words, so you really gotta be succinct there. And
I'm going to do a very short one.
And then, well, the intended learning outcomes, kind of like what you want your students to get out of it, and then the essential questions. And these are not required, but most likely you're going to be including them because that would be like the first step, right? When you design a lesson. And then what standards they are aligned with. And they may be derived from the national core arts or other districts or national standards, or they can be unique to the research. And then lastly, we ask that you maybe look for a couple of social theory connections. So this would be maybe 2 articles or 2 papers that you find that relate especially with your lesson, and that you provide the link in there. And then how long your project will be. And this, like Emily said, it may vary a lot depending on the scope of your lesson/unit. So for this one, we're thinking high school, it may be adapted from middle school, high school, or higher education, sorry. And then you can click different themes or topics. Here we're gonna check collaboration and community, materiality, and you can really go, do we have a maximum or minimum?
Not that I know of.
So you can check as many as you feel that apply, and that is going to help us to store it in the right places, right? So when we talked before about the different categories and how some lessons may appear in many different rankings or categories, this will help also like your lesson be more visible when other teachers or educators are looking at it. So also like your media and what you're going to be using and the process or method. And once you have found all the ones that apply, then you go to the next page and you just have to upload the files. So we don't require any format specifically, but MLA and or APA are recommended. And then you can also add images of processes and or of student work or whatever you think might help for other educators understand your resource.
I think I selected the wrong thing. There we go. And then you can just submit it. As we were kind of preparing for this, we think we were looking at the form, and there is a lot of information on the front end of it, and it can be a little bit intimidating, but we really want people to feel like this is something, a place where their work belongs. And it's also not like when we evaluate the curriculum, we are happy to give feedback. And let's say a certain area, what you submit scores low. That doesn't mean that we're going to email you and say, we're now rejecting your curriculum. What we would probably do is say, we just have a couple of things that we would like you to think about. And here's some suggestions for how you could kind of add a little bit more to this so that it does meet the criteria we're looking for. And so it can really be a collaboration between us and you, with you as the curriculum writer really in the lead. So that's just kind of how we've envisioned this process, and also how it's been conducted in the past with what's already published on the archive. So Veronica, can you think of anything else?
Well, I just wanted to emphasize that sometimes it's just understanding, because sometimes when we write things, we think that the other person is understanding everything we're writing. So maybe there are missing things that could help, or not even missing, just things that would help us understand better what you're trying to convey. But we really would like to encourage you to submit, because we would welcome actually creative, like this is all about art and creativity, right? So we would like to welcome like different formats and different outcomes that are not necessarily the same kinds of plans. So
Awesome. Okay. Well, thank you everybody so much. And we hope that this is a good resource for you as you think about submitting curriculum to our website.
Thank you.
Thank you.